In plane geometry, circle cannot be classified under the type of polygon, but it's a special, we can say it's a special figure because of its many application in real world. Okay, so the circle has no perimeter, but okay, it has what we call circumference. So it serves as the perimeter of the figure. Okay, and this is the distance around the circle. The radius is the distance from the center of the circle up to any point on the circle. And twice the radius is what we call diameter. The diameter is a type of chord and it divides a circle into two congruent parts. So it has so many parts like the arc. Arc is part of the circumference of a circle. In a line, we have what we call line segment. In a circle, we have what we call arc. Chord is a line joining 2 points on the circumference. So if you're trying to draw a line passing through the circle at 2 points, it's called chord. Okay? And tangent line is a line that touches the circle or the circumference, any point on the circumference of the circle at only 1 point. So the red line here is the tangent. Circle also has a sector. It is being formed by bounding the two radii of circles. So, pag kumain kayo ng pizza, yung pizza part na tinitake nyo yung isang slice is the sector of the circle. And we also have what we call central angle. So, if you will form a sector, the theta here in the circle is called central angle. Inscribe angle means the angle being formed using any points on the circle, and it should be within the circle. That's why it's called inscribe, right? So here, this part is the inscribe angle with a theta. Concentric circles are different from, they have different size, no? But they share the same point or they have what we call common center. So, yung tinatawag na ripple effect, if you will watch it, no? Series sila ng concentric circles. Okay? We also have some principles or laws that we can use to solve some problems about circles. Okay, so the distance between the center of the smaller circle and the larger circle can be found by adding the radii of the two or the two radii. Let's say C sub 1 has radii R sub 1 and C sub 2 has radius rather R sub 2. All you need to do to find the distance between the centers is to add these two radius. So we have a lot of things to read here, but sometimes no ginagamit natin sila pero yung minsan naman hindi. Okay? Pero isa ito sa mga kailangan yung tandaan. Okay? Kaya ito yung uunahin muna natin. Okay? Ito meron tayong tinatawag na law about the inscribed angle. So, you notice here that magkakaiba silang inscribed angle. Tama. But they are all 47 degrees. Why? Because they share the same arc. So, pag pareha sila ng arc, no, yung mga inscribed angles na gagawin mo na ang endpoints ay nasa endpoints ng arc. Okay? Asahan mo na kahit saang pang position ng inscribed angle na yan, they are always equal. Now, if you will use the central angle and an inscribed angle sharing the same endpoint of the arc, no? Ang nangyayari naman, half the measure of the central angle is the measure of the inscribed angle. Okay? And this is one of the important theorems that you should remember about circle. It's called Thales theorem from the Greek mathematician Thales or Thales. Okay? So, he said that when the angle stands on the diameter, like this triangle here or the angle here, no, what is the side of angle A? Angle A is always 90 degrees. Okay, paano natin malalaman? Okay, ito na lang tandaan nyo. Halimbawa, may semicircle kayo. No? Ito yung diameter natin. Pag yung endpoints ng diameter ng semicircle or ng circle na ginagawa nyo, okay, ay nagpo-form ng angle on any points on any points of the circle. Okay, ang measure lagi niyan pag semicircle is 90 degrees. Okay, so in-emphasize ko yan kasi madalas ginagamit yan sa problem solving. Okay, we also have what we call supplementary or opposite angles in a cyclic quadrilateral. But what is a cyclic quadrilateral? This is a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle. Okay, and it can be formed by putting its vertices on the circle. So meron tayong cyclic excuse me, cyclic quadrilateral kagaya na nasa figure. So kung mapapansin nyo dito, yung opposite daw ng opposite quadrilateral, opposite angles of a quadrilateral or cyclic quadrilateral are always supplementary, meaning their sum is always equal to 180 degrees. So here, you can see here that the two tangent lines are intersecting. Okay, so halimbawa you have this tangent line here, then another tangent line here. If they are intersecting, notice that kung gagawa kayo ng triangles dito using the radii of the circle, ang daming equal measures ang makikita ninyo. Yung mga same colors dyan, equal sila. Okay? Now, this is just an example that you could probably use to test your skills on the previous concepts that we had. Halimbawa ito, what is the possible value of alpha here? The angle alpha here and 71 are supplementary. So all you need to do is to subtract 71 from 180 degrees. And that is what? Yes, 109 degrees. Now, if this is 71 degrees, what is the beta? Notice here that we form a triangle here that is on the circle and the endpoint of the circle. That is why here you can apply the Thales theorem, or that the sum of beta and 71 degrees are equal to 90 degrees because the angle here being formed here is a right angle. Okay, so if you want to know, just need to subtract 71 from 90. So the answer is what? 19 degrees. So ganun lang, ulit-ulit lang yan, and pwede nyong i-apply yung mga principles kanina para sa mga exercises or examples na ganito. Pero magja-jump na tayo dito sa mga formulas na kakailanganin natin. Okay, first we have what we call circumference. And the circumference of the circle is equal to 2 pi r, while the area is equal to pi r squared. Yung radius ang pinaka-importanting measure sa circle, because if you know the radius of the circle, you can solve many problems about circles. Okay, so napakadali ng mga formulas, di ba? Circumference, 2 pi r, area, pi r squared. We have some formulas here that we could use, like the formula for the sector. So, if you had trigonometry in high school, you should know these things, Pero pwede naman nating i-review, So, S here represents the arc length. So, you see the red area here, di ba? Okay, it forms an arc, and let's call that arc S. If you want to know the measure of this arc, you just need to use the formula R times theta. And you need to remember that the theta here is the central angle, and it should always be in radian measure. Because if it's not in radian measure, you will have a different answer. So you always remember, if you are using these three formulas, or rather these two formulas, yung S tsaka yung area ng sector na yan, okay, dapat yung theta in terms of radian measure. Okay, yung red dito, yung red na area nakikita nyo dito, yan ang sector. So the formula is 1/2 r squared theta. So mapapansin nyo, radius lagi ang kailangan to solve for it. Okay, yung letter P na tinutukoy dyan is actually the perimeter of the sector. Kaya nakalagay dyan 2r, it's because you need to add this 2 r's, diba? Since equal naman yung radius, multiply mo na lang sa 2. And then you add the length of the arc. That's it. So, yan yung mga formulas na kailangan nyo tandaan. Itong mga to, medyo complex na at hindi na natin masyadong i-cover. Okay? So, gagawin ko niyan, mag-discuss ako ng mga ilang problems na pwede nating i-apply yung knowledge natin about circle. Problem number 1. The diameter of the given semicircular slice of watermelon is 14 centimeters. What will be the perimeter of the slice of the watermelon? Now, we have to draw a semicircle because it represents the half of the watermelon, right? Okay, now, it has a diameter of 14 centimeters. So, ibig sabihin, mula dito hanggang dito, yan yung diameter. Huwag niyong isipin na yung diameter ay nakikita lang kapag buo ang circle. You can define the diameter as long as it's what? Twice the radius. The size is twice the radius. Now, what will be the perimeter of the slice of the watermelon? Actually, if you know the formula S equals R theta, makukuha natin agad yung S dito. Okay? But, let's try this solution first. Okay? Yung mas alam nyo. Halimbawa, hindi nyo alam yung formula na S equals R theta. You know here that S is half the circumference, right? Because this is a semicircle. So, ibig sabihin, kung nag-let ako ng value, let's say S dyan, it's half of the circumference. So, S is equal to circumference over 2. Now, what formula are we going to use? Eh, yung alam lang nating formula ng circumference is 2 pi r. Right? Okay lang yun. No? Just need to divide the circumference 2 pi r by 2 and you'll have the formula for S here. And S now is equal to r pi. I don't know if you notice it, but it's actually the formula S r theta. Tama? At nagkataon na yung theta natin dito ay 180 degrees. And 180 degrees in radian measure is pi. That's it. No? Kaya nakuha natin yung formula na yan. Now, hindi yan ang tinatanong. Ang tinatanong sa atin, what is the perimeter of the semicircle? So, the perimeter is just equal to the diameter, which is 14 here. Okay? And, what? Add the value of S, which is now equal to R theta. So, that's it. Paano natin hahanapin at isosolve yan? Ang unang problema natin dito ay yung R. Kasi hindi natin alam yung R. Okay? So, paano natin isosolve yung R? Yes, no? The diameter is equal to what? 14 centimeters. And the diameter is always twice the radius. Therefore, if you want to get the radius, all you need to do is to divide the diameter into 2. Correct? Yes, ayan yan. Equal yan sa 2r. So, ibig sabihin, to get the radius, divide both sides by 2. So, r now is equal to 7 centimeters. Is it in centimeters? Yeah. So, r is 7 centimeters. But it does not stop there. Tama? Kasi, ang kinukuha talaga natin ay perimeter, which I told you a while ago is just equal to diameter plus S. Now, diameter is 2r, so the radius is already given, which is 7. Tama? Actually, pinahaba ko lang yan eh. Kung tutuusin yung diameter dito, pwede nyo nang isulat kaagad eh, kahit hindi nyo nagamitin yung formula na 2r. Yung r kasi, importante siya para sa formula ng S, which is r pi. Tama, kaya sinolve natin yung r kanina. So, this will become 14 plus r, which is 7, and then times pi. So, what's the answer? Using your calculator, the perimeter will become 35.99 centimeters. The difference between the circumference and diameter of a circular bangle is 5 centimeters. So, bangle is an accessory used by ladies, no? And they usually put it on their wrist. That's according to Google, of course. Kasi hindi talaga din ako familiar nung una sa bangle. Okay, so kung yung bangle daw natin na may circumference at diameter, sandali, ano yung circumference at diameter nila? Let C be the circumference. Oops. Okay, so sulat tayo. Let C be the circumference. Circumference. Okay. Bakit nasulat talaga dito sa screen eh? Okay. Circumference. Okay. And then, D for the diameter. Diameter. Ayan. Maayos na yung sensitivity. Okay. So, we have now the two important information. Pero ang tanong, paano ko malalaman yung circumference ng circle? Kung di ko alam yung radius. Yun nga yung hinahanap, yung radius. So, ibig sabihin, gamitin mo lang yung formula na alam mo, which is 2 pi r. And the diameter, which is equal to twice the radius. Pero bakit ginamit ko yung counterpart ng diameter na 2r? Bakit hindi pwedeng d na lang? Kasi nga, ang sabi sa given natin, that's difference between circumference and diameter. So, pag minus ko daw yung c at saka yung d, ang sagot daw ay 5 centimeters. The problem is, hindi ko alam yung R dito. Yan ang hinahanap. So, kapag D pa rin ang ginamit mo dyan, dalawang variable ang nawawala. Tama? Yun. Kaya gagamitin ko yung 2R dito. Para parehas silang R lang din. Okay, neto. Oh, that's it. Masosolve ba natin yung R dyan? Aboy, oo naman. Okay? Dahil dyan, masosolve na natin yung hinahanap natin na R. Paano na ulit yung formula natin? 2 pi r minus 2r equals 5. Excuse the noise of the dogs, no? Okay, may tao kasi. So, 2 pi minus 2 times r. Bakit naging ganyan? Finactor out ko lang yung r. So, huwag kayo nalilito ha. Finactor out ko lang yung r. Actually, kung ipa-follow nyo yung rule sa addition ng expression like 2x plus 5x, usually ginagamit lang naman dyan ay ano, 'di ba? O kunyari minus pa yan, pwede rin. 'Di ba ang ginagawa lang naman dyan, ima-minus or ipa-plus mo yung nasa unahan. Tapos kakopy mo yung x. Ganyan lang ginagawa ko dyan. Okay, so huwag kayong nagpapalito. Okay, ngayon, ginawa ko yan kasi ang balak ko ay hanapin yung r. At kung i-divide ko to lahat sa 2 pi over 2 at ito sa 2 pi minus 2 din, okay, maka-cancel na to, magiging 1 na siya. So, ibig sabihin, the answer is r, 5 over 2 pi minus 2. And of course, napaka-komplikado naman kung ganyan, di ba? So, by using your calculator, the answer should be 1.17 centimeters. Yan na yung radius. Here in the third problem, a girl wants to make a square-shaped figure from a circular wire. So, meron tayong given dito na circular wire. So, let's draw a circular wire. Okay, and this girl is planning to bend this wire to form a square. Okay, now, we need to determine the sides of the square. Parang hirap yata nun kasi itong nawawala, yung side ng square natin. Okay? Pero alam naman natin na kahit baguhin mo yung circular wire at shape mo siya into square, no? Wala namang masasayang na wire or walang tatanggalin na wire. Walang kailangan tanggalin wire. So, ibig sabihin, if this circle has a circumference C, no? Kapag diniform natin yan at naging square siya, ito pa rin naman yung circumference na yon at nagbago lang ang shape. And now, it becomes the perimeter of the square. So, we can now say that the circumference and the perimeter of the square are equal. Okay, pero anong matutulong nun sa pag-solve natin ng x? Siyempre, malaki. Kasi, ang perimeter ng square, if x is the missing side, ang perimeter niya is what? 4 times x. And the circumference is equal to what? Yes, 2 pi r. Tama. Ang kaso, hinahanap natin yung x. Masosolve ba natin yung x kung wala tayong r? Hindi. Pero huwag kayong mag-alala. R is given, which is equal to 49 centimeters. Naku, may napindot na bura. Okay? So, in short, all we need to do is to use that idea that circumference 2 pi r is just equal to 2 4x. Okay? And since the radius is what? 49, and then that is equal to 4x, all you need to do now is to divide both sides by 4 to solve for the missing value of x. So divide both sides by 4, divide this by 4. Using your calculator, simplify this one, and the answer is 49 pi over 2. Or, better yet, in decimal, it's 76.97 centimeters. In this problem, we need to find the area of the shaded region of the semicircle. Okay, so the very first thing that we need to find here is the area of this triangle. Bakit kailangan natin yung area ng triangle na yan? Kasi, for us to find the area of the shaded region, all we need to do is to subtract the area of this triangle from the area of this semicircle, right? So, let me write that one. So, area, let's write it here. The area, area na lang ng shaded is just equal to area ng semicircle minus the area of the triangle. Tama? Now, ang problema natin, wala tayong idea dun sa area ng triangle. Unless, no, alam natin yung information about the triangle. And then if you notice, we can apply the Thales theorem here. Right? I don't know if you notice it, but this is a right triangle. Bakit? Kasi this is a semicircle, tama? And this is a triangle inscribed in the semicircle using the endpoints of the diameter. So, we form what we call right triangle. Right? Okay. Since right triangle yan, ibig sabihin, pag ginuhit ko dito yung triangle na yan, it looks like this. This is the base, which is 11. And this is the height, which is 18 centimeters. Right? Ngayon, anong makukuha nating information dyan? Okay? Dahil dyan, makukuha na natin yung area ng triangle. Okay? Ang area ng triangle ay equal sa 1/2 base times height. Kagaya ng pinag-aralan natin nun. Diba? Okay. Okay, bakit nasabi natin na pwede natin gamitin itong formula na to? Because meron na tayong base, which is the base of this triangle, which is 11 centimeters, and the height, which is equal to 18 centimeters. Itong dalawang to. Tama? So, okay ng area ng triangle natin. Kaso, ano ang area ng semicircle natin? If it's a semicircle, it's clear to us that what? The area of the semicircle is just half the area of the circle. So, if the area of the circle is pi r squared, all you need to do is to divide this area into 2 for you to have the area of the semicircle, right? But in this case, we have a concern. Why? Because we don't know the radius, right? So, paano natin nahanapin yung radius natin? Ito lang ang idea na pwede nating gamitin. Alam natin na diameter yan. At pag nahanap natin yung diameter na yan, no, wala na tayong problema. Okay, yung diameter na yan, ewan kung napansin nyo, ito rin yun. Tama? And it's actually one of the sides of the right triangle and we call it hypotenuse. So, of course, because of that idea, we can now solve for this diameter or D. Because the hypotenuse is just equal to the square root of 18 and 11 squared. Tama? Di ba ganun yun? Square mo to, kunin mo square root, add mo yung squares nila, then you'll get that. Tama? So, the diameter, in this case, by using your calculator, will give you square root of 400 45. Tama? Pero hindi yan yung radius because you need to divide it by 2 so that the radius will now become 445 divided by 2. So this is the radius that we're going to use to solve for the area of the shaded region. So ganun lang ang gagawin natin. Okay? Very easy, di ba? Well, easy kapag ka naisip nyo lahat yon. Kaya nga kung hindi nyo alam yung Thales Theorem, gaya ng diniscuss ko, okay, hindi nyo talaga masasagot ng madali yan. Even the idea of the right triangle there and the notion that it's a right triangle, di ba? Importante yung mga information na yon. Okay, let us continue. So here, we have now the formula for the semicircle, which is what? Yes, half of the area of the circle. Tama. And the radius now is now known. Tama. So the area of the shaded now can be computed using the formula pi and then square root of 445 over 2, which is the radius. Square it and then divide it by 2. Minus 1/2 base times height, right? So this is 1/2 base. What is the base? Yes, the base is 11 as I mentioned a while ago. Times, naku, nabitin pa ako sa space. Times 18. Right? Okay. By using your calculator, you can solve for that one. Sige, habang sinusolve nyo sa calculator nyo, try nating i-rewrite yan. Okay? Try nating i-rewrite. So, the area, oops, dali lang. So, the area of the shaded is equal to pi r squared. So, the r is square root of 445 over 2. Square it. And then divide it by 2. Because that's the area for the semicircle of the given. And minus 1/2, the base given is 11 times 18. So, the area, using your calculator, is now what? Yes, it should be 75.75 cm squared. Oops, di kasali to. Yan. So, alam nyo kung paano natin na-manipulate yung formula, di ba? Marami lang siyang pasikot-sikot and probably this is one of the complex problems that you may have in your exam. Pero kung nakuha nyo to, ibig sabihin yung mas complex na problem sa exam or yung kagaya nito sa exam, eh okay na kayo. Di ba?